So the votes are officially in for the Tamil Nadu election. But the results? Well, we're still a few days out from knowing anything for sure. The big question on everyone's mind is, who actually won? Today, we're going to cut through all that noise with an AI-powered forecast to give you the inside scoop on what the data is really telling us. Okay, let's set the scene. Polling day was back on April 23rd, and get this, it saw a record turnout of almost 85%. That's huge. But the official count, the day we know for sure, isn't until May 4th. And in this gap, all we have are projections. And that is exactly what we are going to dive into right now. All right, let's get right to the heart of it. The question everyone wants answered. Based on all the analysis, who is the frontrunner to form the next government in Tamil Nadu? And the answer is, the data is pointing to the incumbent DMK and its allies. It looks like they're in the lead and on track for a victory. But, and this is a big but, it's not quite that simple. The story here is way more nuanced than just that headline. So you're probably wondering, how did our AI model even get to that conclusion? Well, like with most things in elections, it all comes down to the numbers, and we're about to decode them for you. First things first, let's talk about the most important number in this entire election, 118. In the 234-seat assembly, any party or alliance that crosses this mark gets to form the government. It's the magic number, the simple majority you need to win. And here you can see why that number is so crucial. The DMK-led alliance is projected to land somewhere between 125 and 145 seats, putting them comfortably over that 118-seat majority line. Now, the AIADMK-led alliance is definitely putting up a strong fight, but it looks like they're projected to fall just a bit short. Now, let's dig into the vote share projections. You can see the DMK alliance is hovering around 38 to 42%, with the AIADMK alliance right on their heels at 35 to 39%. But look at that third player, the TVK. They're pulling a really significant 12 to 18% of the vote. We are definitely going to come back to them in a minute. So why does the ruling DMK have this advantage in the first place? I mean, the numbers tell us what is likely to happen, but the qualitative analysis, that tells us why. The analysis really points to three key factors here. First, there's the power of incumbency, being the party in charge, which is backed by some pretty popular welfare schemes. Second, they just have a stronger, more organized party machine on the ground. And third, that record high voter turnout we mentioned, well, historically in Tamil Nadu, that tends to help the party that's already in power. But hold on, this is not a done deal. Not by a long shot. While the DMK has a clear edge, their path to victory has some very real obstacles and, a few wild cards that could absolutely change everything. Yeah, the forecast is pointing one way, but there's a new player on the field that is creating a whole lot of uncertainty. And that wild card is what's known in politics as a vote splitter. Now, this is a super important concept. It's a party that might not win very many seats itself, but by pulling votes away from one of the main contenders, it can completely change who actually wins the election. Remember this chart? The vote splitter here is actor Vijay's new party, the TVK. They're projected to pull in a massive 12 to 18% of the total vote share. For a brand new party, that is a huge slice of the pie. So the million-dollar question is, whose pie are they eating? Well, the analysis seems pretty clear on this one. TVK is hurting the DMK alliance more. Their appeal seems to be strongest with younger voters, and that's a demographic that has traditionally leaned towards the DMK. So by splitting that vote, TVK is making this race a whole lot tighter. So to recap the big risks for the frontrunner. First, there are pockets of strong anti-incumbency, especially in the southern and western districts. Second, there's that TVK spoiler effect we just talked about. And finally, there's always the possibility of a last-minute consolidation of all the anti-DMK votes, which, if it happens, could lead to a real surprise. So, with the forecast and all the risks laid out on the table, what happens now? As a quick reminder, the polling is done. We are here right now analyzing the data before the official results drop. And the day you need to mark on your calendar is May 4th. That's when we'll know for sure if this AI projection was on the money. So really the main takeaway is this. Despite all the risks, despite the spoiler effect, the weight of the data still points towards a victory for the incumbent DMK alliance. And that leaves us with the final and most tantalizing question. The data gives us a probable outcome, but we all know elections can be wildly unpredictable. We've got a frontrunner, sure, but we also have a very powerful wildcard in play. The stage is set for what could be a fascinating results day. All we can do now is wait and see.